This is going to be my frame-by-frame breakdown of the official first trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6. A minute and 30 seconds long, let's get into it. So I'm going to save specifics for a future video, and this, I just kind of want to give you a live reaction of what I see at a first glance. And in this first shot right here of a two-lane highway going one direction and a two-lane highway going another direction, we actually get to see a handful of vehicles. Heading away from us, we have a truck towing a boat. We have another cargo truck that seems to be like it's carrying spare tires, a Patriot beer semi-truck, a motorcycle, a station wagon, a sedan, a van, a red sports car. Coming towards us, we can see a blue SUV, a red sports car, what looks to be like an airport shuttle, a white van, a bus, and then a couple more vehicles driving towards us, including another van and a box truck as they are driving towards us with their headlights. Now, what else is going on in this scene? It looks like on this particular part of the world, there's a couple of things. It looks like there's a water filtration plant, and it also looks like there's a prison. So we'll talk about that as we get further on, because that's where we see our main character, Lucia. In the background, in the far right-hand corner, you can see what appears to be the remnants of another town or city. It looks like it's very industrial, as it has a massive set of smokestacks in the back. You can also see a bridge that seems to be connecting one side of the city to the other on the opposite side of the prison. And as we get towards the left-hand side, you can see that there's this one massive spire. I'm not sure what it is, if it's a massive radio tower or if it's something else all the way around, but you can see there's another city in the background and a smaller bridge that seems to be connecting sort of this waterway right here off to the left. And then what looks to be a handful of birds, possibly like little seagulls, flying around as an airplane comes overhead. And you can also see that there is a boat jettisoning by, so you can tell that this waterway is accessible to vehicles and humans. Now, the sunset or sunrise in the shot is going to be important because it directly connects us to our next frame. And what we're looking at right here is another sweeping view of the prison. As you can see, this is kind of like a dual layered fence with razor wire or barbed wire on top. You can also see there's some remnants of clothing or trash on there. And you can also see those same birds flying in the background. And you can also see vehicles parked in the background. So this is very likely the parking lot for the prison. You can also see that there are lights in that parking lot, a handful of palm trees as well. And it then transitions to this shot right here of our first main character, and that is Lucia. So I don't know if she's going to be starting the game in prison or if this is a flashback, but at some point in time, she is incarcerated. And there's a handful of things you can see here. She is looking outside. This looks to be her cell, as there's a bunk bed there, and there are several inmates outside with several guard towers that you can see. Now, on the top bunk, there's a picture. I'm not sure what that picture is of, and then there seems to be like two things also taped to the wall. And on the picture on the bottom bunk, you can actually see it looks like an individual wearing an orange shirt, and then there's three women. And I can't tell if the one in the green is Lucia. It kind of looks the most like her, but I'm not sure. She ends up flipping around, and we get our first official look at Lucia, our first female protagonist in the Grand Theft Auto series, which is incredibly cool. And as we transition to the next scene, which I'll slow down in a little bit, we actually get one of our first bits of dialogue. And it comes from what looks to be this counselor at the jail talking to Lucia. She says this:
Lucia, do you know why you're here?
Bad luck, I guess.
So she asks Lucia, do you know why you're here? And Lucia responds with, bad luck, I guess. So that's going to be the iconic phrase of this trailer. Michael had, why did I move here? I guess it was the weather. And Lucia's got bad luck, I guess. But anyways, let's go ahead and break down that shot. We actually can see from the little name placard there that whoever is talking to Lucia, her name is Stephanie. And she also looks like she is a professional counselor at this jail. Now, a couple of things on her desk and in the background. She has several pictures, what looks like to be from her personal life, as well as a picture on the desk. It looks like there's a folder, possibly with the things that Lucia has done in terms of the crime. And she also has a lanyard as well as a necklace around her neck. Now, it also transitions to Lucia We can see her from the front. And in the background, we can see a painting of a mountain range and a boat, as well as like a yellow safety vest and a couple of books and what looks to be some sort of pamphlet. So this basically sets the scene for Lucia. We know that she's incarcerated and that she is in jail at some point during the game. Now our next shot is very impressive. It takes us to the emerald-colored waters of Vice City. And in this first shot right here, I was able to notice a handful of things. The first is turtles. Look at the underwater life right there. There's going to be turtles that you can see swimming by. You also look like you're going to be able to see these super yachts that you can either drive or pilot, which is pretty neat. You can also see dolphins jumping out, as well as a shark. That's kind of neat as well. So there is a lot of interesting wildlife that is going to be returning. Actually, a handful of sharks that you can see. And as we get closer to the shore, you can see a speedboat racing by. You can see a couple of jet skis closer to the shore. A bunch of seagulls flying by as well, a handful of people standing in the water, and as we get to the beach, an absolute ton of NPCs, and it looks like various colored umbrellas and lifeguard stands. This is pretty typical if you go to a beach in a very popular area. Different resorts will have different colors to represent their brand, so I guarantee you that's what we're looking at right here. And then we get our first look at the Vice City skyline. And boy, does this city look absolutely sprawling. You've got giant skyscrapers, tons of palm trees, what looks to be lots of residential areas. And in this same frame, we're able to see a couple of things happen as the Rockstar Games Presents logo comes on screen. We're able to see a plane flying towards the main part of the city. It also looks like there is a beach helicopter flying over. And we also see this Dodo seaplane that looks to be flying some sort of advertisement or billboard. Now, from what I can see, it says 919, and in the lettering part, you can see it says Y69 when you can 919. I'm sure we'll figure more about that as we get going on. And as that shot goes over the city, you can see more cars in the street. It also, and I don't know if this is just one little thing, it looks like there's this green either towel or inflatable on what I'm going to say like the 7th or 8th row of this building right here. I found that to be kind of interesting for no other reason than it's like a color that just jumped out to me. And again, the city sort of fades to black in the background. Now, after we get past that Rockstar Games Presents, we're hit with this shot right here. And the one thing I found that's kind of interesting is you see that little oscillating arm right there with the red and the white. That's going to indicate that there's a train or at least some sort of like subway or metro system, possibly the Vice City Metro Mule that we saw from the leaks, that it's going to be going through the city as the lights are flashing. And it looks like these two matching buildings right here are definitely residential areas. As you can see on top, there's yellow umbrellas and you have people standing towards the ledge. I feel like this is Rockstar just trying to show us how deep the world is going to be with the NPC activity, but at the same rate, also possibly places that we'll be able to purchase. And in that same shot, once again, we see a plane going by. In almost every single shot, there's been an airplane passing by, which again, very cool. I'm not sure why Rockstar's doing all that, but it just goes to show you that it's gonna feel like a very active world. Now from there, we jump to the Everglades. There's a lot going on here. You can obviously see that the weather looks completely different here. You've got this orange haze, orange fog, just like what we saw in Red Dead Redemption 2. Different parts of the world are going to offer different types of weather. And as this fan boat is going by, which I can't tell how many people are here, it looks at a minimum, this can have 3 people, 1 person in the back, and then 2 people up front. And it looks like whoever the person up front is has a shotgun armed with them or some sort of weapon. So maybe they're doing some hunting, or maybe they're trying to fend off some people that are not very happy with them. And in that same thing, you can see some like ducks or mallards flying away, obviously disturbed by the fan boat racing by. You can also see a handful of trees and foliage as it cuts to our next shot right here, which gives us more looks at the wildlife of this game. We can see a handful of different birds like herons and flamingos. We can also see alligators and even ducks sitting in here. And even this interesting creature in the back, I'm not actually sure what this is. So if you guys can help me out with that. And that's also something good to mention as well, that if you see something that I missed or didn't point out, please let me know in those comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. We're definitely going to be doing more than just this video, so obviously more breakdowns are going to be coming. But anyways, let's transition to our next scene right here, and there is a lot going on as we have now transitioned to the Vice City beach, and it is absolutely packed. And one of the things that I've noticed here is the different variety in the NPCs and the things they seem to be doing and wearing. I'm talking about size, shape, whether they're fit or unfit, the activities they seem to be doing. Like, for example, on the left-hand side of the screen, this guy in the red shorts and the white cap, he's putting on suntan spray on this lady who's just standing there letting it happen. You have the 3 women in all different bathing suits, and some even have different tattoos and accessories walking towards the camera. You've got this absolutely shredded couple that looks like they do a ton of CrossFit. They and their little Chihuahua dog are running on the beach. As we get on the right-hand side, you see a couple of people sunbathing, either sleeping or sitting up. You can actually see one guy in the do-rag and sort of the teal shorts. He's actually taking a selfie of some girl leaning over and twerking, which is incredibly interesting. And even our characters in the background seem to be doing just a variety of things, whether it's standing around and talking, whether it's sitting underneath the umbrellas. It looks like we've got a name of a brand here. This is called Soul Sisters Vice Beach. I would not be shocked if that's like a resort or a hotel in any way, shape, or form. Same with the pink umbrellas in the background. It looks like that is certainly going to be a different brand. And as we look towards the water, there's a lot going on as well. It looks like there is a lifeguard SUV truck that has a trailer backing something into the water, possibly boats or jet skis, which you can see on the right-hand side as well. And once again, a ton more vehicles. I think I spot the same lifeguard helicopter from one of the first shots. We also have the Sea Sparrow that looks like it's coming in for a landing, as well as another airplane that is flying by in the skies above. Very, very cool stuff. A handful of other helicopters look like they're passing by as well. I just want to point out the amount of density here. Look how many NPCs are on this beach. That, to me, is absolutely incredible. And the last thing I'm able to make out is what looks to be some building in the background that says Heights. I can only imagine that that is like an apartment complex or a set of condos, something along those lines. Now we move on to our next shot, and we actually get to see a very cool industrial area of Vice City. You can see that in the background there's this tiny bridge that sort of connects what I think is this industrial island to the main city. You can also see, once again, a plane flying above and this massive cargo ship that is unloading all these different containers. And we can actually recognize a handful of brands there from the Grand Theft Auto series. You've got JetSam as well as Bill Gecko, and you can see the shipping company is PVCSO. I bet that is Port of Vice City shipping something. That would be my guess. And then whatever cargo ship that is BTN Del Mar. I'm not sure what that means either. But as we get into the trailer, you can see that it is unloading and offloading those cargo ships. And then we've got these speedboats chasing down what looks to be our main speedboat right here. It is black, red, and yellow, and it has a Clarion symbol on the side, or a Clarion logo. I'm not sure if that is the name of the boat or if that is some sort of sponsor, as this looks like a livery. But you can see there are multiple different types of speedboats here. This black and yellow one is different from the blue and white one that you can see in the background. Now, moving on to our next shot right here, I don't know if this is just going to be a random event that we stumble across or if it's a part of a mission, because you can see you've got a guy driving, you have an NPC girl in a sports car, and if we take a look at the signage, you can see 404 West takes you to Kelly County. And if you go to 97, it'll take you to Vice City International Airport. And if you get off at State Route 3, it'll take you to Catalan Boulevard and Stockyard, as well as downtown. I bet that area we were just at is technically the Stockyard. So this is a really cool scene. The hair movement here is honestly what does it for me. The speed limit, 70 miles an hour. I don't know if they're going 70 miles an hour, but you can see as this girl is leaning out of the roof of the car, the guy in the driver's seat looks up to make sure she's doing okay. And look at this really cool building in the background. It almost looks like that is a sporting arena. It looks absolutely massive. We know that Vice City is going to have its own sports team, so that with the sort of bluish to purple to pink, that looks pretty awesome. And as this is happening, it really does seem like the other vehicles are getting out of their way. I don't know if you guys caught on to that, but as they're getting closer, that truck with the stuff in the back, it's getting out of the way very quickly. That red sports car seems like it's getting out of the way very quickly. And one thing I noticed is the interior of that car has sort of like a blue glow to it. So I feel like vehicle customization is going to be insane here. And even the level of detail on the NPCs. I mean, you can see she's got earrings, bracelets, tattoos. The world of Vice City seems absolutely so vibrant. And as we transition to our next shot right here, it looks like there's a car show going on in another neighborhood. There's a handful of vehicles right here, including what looks to be a PMP 600, a ton of different lowriders as well. We're going to be going into all the different vehicles in a separate video because there's so many and I want to go more specific, but you can see they're sort of parked in these tow away zones and no parking zones. And it looks like this is sort of a dynamic car show as NPCs are standing around with their phones, taking pictures, huddled around various vehicles. There's also a ton of graffiti, not only in the car show area in which they're pulling in, but also on the walls surrounding it. So I feel like this is a very specific area where activities like this are pretty common. And I don't know what's going on, but you can also see a police helicopter hovering above. So I don't know if this event is gathering a police presence, but there is a police helicopter above. We transition to our next scene right here, which I know is important for a lot of people. This confirms that a strip club is returning. This looks like the Jack of Hearts strip club that we were able to see from the GTA 6 leaks. There's a lot going on here. I'll do my best. It's called Make It Rain Mondays, which is hilariously specific. You can see there's some female dancers that are having money thrown on them as they are dancing and twerking. There seems to be a lot going on here. There's also a handful of dancers that are carrying champagne in this sort of illuminated circle with sparklers coming on top. There's balloons everywhere. There's looks to be a ton of NPCs. There is also a secondary balcony level, and there is money absolutely everywhere on the stage, on the floor. I didn't even see the floor until I went back and looked at this a second time. There is money absolutely everywhere. So I don't know if this is going to be a business place or a recreational place or something in the middle. There might be both. But anyways, that is the strip club. This next shot right here, I don't know who they're showing off. It might just be a random NPC, an important character, but look at the detail here. From the chains around his neck, to the ring on his finger, to the watch on his wrist, to the tattoos on his arm sleeve, and even some of the things that you might not think about, like the underarm hair and the hair on his face, and even the gold grills on his mouth. And as he goes to give a handshake to his friend, you can even see the details on him, the bandana, the beard, the chain, and even look in the background. There seems to be people watching on. It looks like this individual just got out of a car, so it seems to be a particular meeting of sorts. And there's even a billboard in the background advertising something, but it's a little bit blurry. You can't see anything. And then it transitions to this shot right here. And wow, look at Vice City. It looks like there is going to be a toll booth as well, which will be returning from Grand Theft Auto 4. I always thought that was kind of a neat feature. And look at all the yachts in the water. They range from kind of tiny size yachts, which feels weird to say, to massive super yachts that you can see on the right-hand side. It looks like this is a very wealthy recreational and residential area. It also looks like there is a tennis court too, so that ability certainly looks like it might be returning. And if you look at the island on the left-hand side and even on the right-hand side, those are some massive mansions. So we're starting to see kind of where the rich people of Vice City are going to live. And in the sky, once again, you've got a helicopter and you've got planes. And on the streets, you've got lots of vehicles, sports cars with white stripes going down the middle, black and white vans, pickup trucks. It looks like there is a ton of vehicle variety as well, and even a police boat in the water, as you guys can see. And just look at how the clouds look in the sunset. This is an absolutely beautiful shot right here. Man, oh man, I can't wait to dive into the world of Vice City. But let's move on to our next shot right here. And this looks like we're on Ocean Beach Drive. And man, is there a lot going on. Not only in terms of vehicles, where I see classic Cheetahs and Grotti Carbonizers, as well as Roadster variant Commons, and even Pegassi vehicles. Again, we will deep dive into all the vehicles in a future video, but I kind of want to look at just a handful of the things I noticed here. It looks like there's either a restaurant or an establishment called Neptune's, as well as a hotel that looks like it's called Boardwalk. You can even see into the rooms, which is kind of cool. There's also something called the Hotel Dixon, as well as the Ocean View Hotel that has sort of the pink neon right there. And going on the right-hand side of the street, you can see that there is someone that is homeless. Looks like there's begging for money. So it looks like that's something that's returning from Red Dead Redemption 2 as well. We saw that featured in a lot of the main cities like Saint Denis. And look at that little like outdoor heater. I just noticed that as well. That is an exceptionally bougie feature that I would imagine you would see in some of the more wealthy areas. And what's kind of cool about that guy's white car is he's got the license plate of Cheetah. And that is the Grotti Cheetah. So kind of a cool little detail there from Rockstar. Our next shot right here transitions us into a nightclub and a DJ preparing their set. And I'm not sure what the theme of it is here, but I do see a lot of crescent moons. So that's something to keep in mind. And also this sort of like gold tinfoil on the front of her little set. I see a fan, obviously NPCs dancing, one of them waving a fan with palm tree leaves on there. So that looks to be like a pretty neat scene. Our next shot is exceptionally impressive. It looks like this is going to be a part of the map that is connecting us to sort of the Florida Keys. And there is a lot that I see here. Let's start with the vehicles first. We've got a Dodo seaplane flying into the shot. We've got a handful of cargo ships that you can see as well on the left-hand side. One really big and one kind of small lagging behind it. You can see a handful of big yachts as well, some bigger than others, some smaller, and then a ton of vehicles driving on the highway. And it looks like it is a 2-lane highway heading towards the island, and then a 2-lane highway heading away from the island. And I can already see a stunt jump in the making there, as it looks like there is another bridge that is either under construction or has been completely closed. It looks like they tried to dynamite it off, and you have to jump on the bridge in order to get there. Now, one other thing that I think is interesting, what is this little white balloon over here? Is that a hot air balloon? Is that a blimp? I'm unable to tell what that is. It looks like it's on its own little island over there, so it might be a vehicle that requires a ton of space. Either way, this is a very exciting part of the world. Now, our next shot takes us to the rooftops of Vice City, what I'm going to assume is a penthouse or a luxury apartment. And we can see this woman in a white bikini, and the pattern on her bikini is one that you might actually recognize. It's an in-game brand, Sessanta Nove. I think it's actually a parody of Louis Vuitton. As she twirls around, you'll notice a handful of details like her sunglasses, earrings, necklace, even the way her hair flows. It looks incredible. And there's a handful of other NPCs in the background just doing random relaxing things, sitting in the hot tub, drinking a fun drink, looking at their cell phone. But just look at the level of detail here. It's absolutely incredible. And in the background, you can see once again a helicopter flying by, and you can also see an airplane passing by too. And as we transition to the next shot, a big signage of Vice for Vice City appears as the sun rises quickly in the sky, essentially confirming that this game is taking place in Vice City. And the next couple of shots are incredibly interesting. It seems to be a parody of various social medias, whether that be Instagram or TikTok or Twitter or Facebook Live, but they all seem to be sort of documenting various crazy things happening in the world of Vice City. So this one comes from Dad Bod Squad, who you can follow. A Poppy, save some sugar baby for the rest of us. And I guess Dad Bod Squad is the guy on the front of the yacht with the American flag. And you can see all the other girls in the bikinis dancing behind him as an airplane goes across Vice City. There's even a handful of other dudes in there. This looks like one massive yacht party. Extremely cool. The next shot right here, it doesn't get any more Florida than this. It comes from Official Poach, which I can only imagine is like an animal control service here that we might see. They say, "Stay alert, Vice City. Remember to check for uninvited guests before the pool party." And this guy is literally fishing an alligator out of the back of this pool. How hysterical is that? You guys can see some of the other foliage going on in this backyard, which is absolutely gorgeous. Our next shot right here comes from Have a Vice Day. As someone said, someone called the Department of Transport on this dump truck with the eyes emoji, "Have a Vice Day." And it's a woman twerking in sort of a onesie with fishnet on the top of a vehicle with other passengers inside, as it seems like they're just riding down the city and in front of all the shops, because there's people in the background that you can actually see there just sort of walking around like, what is going on here? It then transitions to what looks to be another random event that you might stumble across. This one looks like it'll probably occur at night. As you can see, all 4 roads of the intersection have been shut down, and it looks like there's someone filming the purple car in the center as the 2 cars are drifting around it. And there is probably about 100 or so NPCs just standing there and watching this all unfold. Now, the only other thing I really see in this shot is that green store right there, which has a phone number of 305-555, and then the last 4 digits are 0127. And it looks like this is some sort of Spanish food service or food market. I'm not sure, but it looks like there is some Spanish writing on there. So that's a pretty cool scene that'll just go to show you how many NPCs are around and just how much chaos there can be at certain parts of the night. It then transitions back to another sort of Instagram, Facebook Live little parody. Someone with the username 13 said, "Going crazy," fire emoji. Zaza Nugget said, "The best song right now. Long time coming. We really out cheer." Shinice said, "Ayo, catch a vibe," with a bunch of smiley faces. Your girl 99, "Finna spin a block with this one." And then Lick, "This is a poop bomb." So you can see that these 2 girls are dancing and they've got a ton of accessories on, sunglasses. This one even has a chain, RR. Wouldn't be surprised if that is her stage name or musician title. And it looks like they're performing this in front of the Jack of Hearts strip club. That's the only other thing that I can see in the background. So there's a lot of stuff going on around the Jack of Hearts strip club. And then it transitions to this CCTV camera footage of a gas station convenience store and literally a gator entering. How weird is that? There's going to be some wild stuff here, and you can see people running away. There's a handful of brands that I noticed here, like Go Postal, which is an in-game postage service, as well as what looks to be a new Vice City lottery that says a new billionaire every week. Now, I don't know if there's things that are purchasable in here. Like, for example, if you'd be able to go up to the convenience store and just grab some stuff. Looks like there's pastries and donuts, certainly drinks and fruit that you can buy too. And outside the store, looks like there's a handful of vehicles at the various pumps, and then a handful of NPCs literally just watching the gator come inside of the store as chaos ensues. And the only other thing this shot identifies is where the camera was facing, the front door, and it happens at about 10 a.m. Now, this transitions to another shot. This is actually some police body camera footage, and it looks like they're knocking the door down on either like a drug house or something along those lines. You can see this police with the backwards hat right here is carrying an assault rifle. The one that we actually have the body camera footage of, he has a pistol. And the one on the left-hand side entering has handcuffs and a pistol with a flashlight on there too. Now, once they barge into the house, it transitions into another social media parody. This one coming from Planet Leonida Man. He says, "Usually got to hit the strip club to see jiggle like that for real." And you can see the sheriff department is chasing this fat guy down the street that seems to be wearing basically not any clothing at all. This is also at an Arrow gas station. Arrow, one of the popular in-game GTA brands. You can see there is what looks to be like a lawn service truck there, as well as a red pickup truck that might have 6 wheels. And if you're wondering what the police car says, it says Leonida County Sheriff or something along those lines about a certain county in Florida. So this is an absolutely hilarious vehicle, as then a big silver truck comes passing by. Our next one, General Custard Cannon. Only in Leonida is a crotch grab, an apology for bad driving. And you can see that this crazy guy gets out of the car. It looks like a fit of road rage that is happening. Yes, he does grab his crotch, and you can see that he is, I guess, apologizing for some bad driving. But in the background, we can see a few more signs. Like, for example, if you head east at exit 148, it'll take you to Vice Beaches, Port Vice City, and the Keys. And if you head west, it'll take you to Kelly County and the Vice City International Airport. And it also looks like there is some sort of toll pass, so you might be able to acquire this so that you don't have to pay the toll going through specific areas. And other than that, it just looks like there is a lot of construction going on right now. And in the background, we see some sort of wanted billboard. This is for panty sniffing. I guess that is a thing in Leonida. And there's also a billboard on the right-hand side that seems to be advertising a sports car. Now, we transition to another shot right here. This is coming from Yo Mama's Jammer, who said, "Rip Rudy, see you in heaven, cuz." And this shot right here is showing off not only this guy doing some impressive driving, but this green truck with this very cool metallic-y paint job. This seems like it's new to GTA 6, and you guys can see there that some of the stickers on the back say Vice Vinyl, Ride Out Customs Crosstown, and then another sticker that says "Wrap it like it's hot." So this might be a wrap, not necessarily a paint job, but again, really impressive that this guy is able to drive like this. I don't know if we're going to see that in the game or if that's something you'll only see on these social media updates like this. Either way, that was pretty cool. We then get our next shot of what is easily the creepiest thing in this entire trailer. We definitely see the definition of Florida man here, who is watering his lawn. I'm very much hesitant to call it that. He's got sunburn all over his back. He's wearing a red thong, and he's got this awful visor and glasses. But it looks like that's his house. That's his home front. He's trying to take care of it. You can't really blame him. Transitioning to what looks to be like another in-game television show. This one is called Thrill Billy Mud Club. So this is probably something that you will see on in-game TVs. But more importantly, we can also see a handful of off-roading vehicles in the background too. You've got lifted monster trucks, big pickup trucks. You've even got these sort of two-seater off-road ATVs. This looks like a really cool like mud park where you could do a lot of off-roading and 4x4s and whatnot. You've got this girl in the American flag bikini going up to the camera all excited. You've got a guy that looks like Tim the Tap Man in the background who's also very excited. Another guy drinking a beer who is equally as excited for what's going on here. Again, that feels like it is an in-game TV show that we'll be able to see in GTA 6. Now moving on, our next shot, and also parody of what looks to be social media coming from Lucha Libre fan, Neighborhood Watch Don't Play Around in Hamlet. So I guess Hamlet is also one of the neighborhoods, and this is what this lady has to say. This is one of the clips that actually does have audio.
Well, look who's back.
So it sounds like she was about to mess that guy up with her dual-wielding hammers there. I don't suspect that that's going to be a thing that we can do, but I did find this to be pretty cool. And Hamlet just seems to be a little bit of a rundown area. Just looking at the background, this looks kind of like an old hotel with like the dumpster just right up front. And her vehicle has like smashes in the windshield or bullet holes. So it really doesn't seem like an all that well off area. And then it transitions to this insane party scene. If I were to speculate, I would say this is at the same place that Thrill Billy Mud Club is at, just at night. So I wonder if this is all part of the same thing, because when the guy lands, he's like covered in dirt. But really what I gathered from this is, again, so many NPCs around just doing really cool stuff. I mean, I guess I don't know if I would call that cool, jumping onto a table just like that, but it does look like there is so much going on, and that's really exciting. Now, our next shot right here, we actually get our first look at Jason. But before we get to that, there's a lot going on in the background and in the billboards. So it looks like on the right, that is an advertisement for the Evergreen Mall. So that's going to be one area that I guess we can access. And there is a handful of different stores there, like Scala, Callus, Colasio, and there's a couple of others that I can't quite put my name on what they might be. One of them seems to be called MD. Another one seems to be called Alpha. Not sure what those stores are, or if we're able to go inside them like we were with the mall in Vice City. But on the left-hand side, it looks like, and I don't know if this is supposed to be like a parody, but it's Angstapan. It says, "It cures emotions, America's favorite disassociative." So I don't know what that's supposed to be, if we're able to get that in-game or not, as some police cars roll by. And I was trying to make out the name of the police cars, but I can't actually see anything other than sheriff. But what we can see there is their color scheme of the green and the white. And then it transitions to our first look at Jason. And Jason's wearing a white t-shirt with a black paisley bandana. He's got sort of a close, scruffy beard, a short haircut, and it looks like lightish green colored eyes. And then it transitions to Lucia outside of her orange inmate jumpsuit, wearing a black tank top and red bandana, as well as earrings. And it also looks like she has a lot of makeup on, so I'm not going to say this is her first time getting out of prison, especially considering she's holding what looks to be a stack of $100 bills. So it actually looks like, in this instance, they just committed a robbery. Now, our next shot is this Weasel News report, which is absolutely chaotic. It's coming in at 10:34 Eastern Time, and the headline is "No Overturning Zone. Cops arrest man who flipped his car after Pee-wee's Dine and Dash." So I bet Pee-wee's is the name of the restaurant. And you can also see some cool cop cars right there that sort of have like that tan or orangish top, as well as a motorcycle driving by, a white van that looks like it has the red logo of a different company. I'm not sure what that is. A handful of other trucks driving by. And look at those barrels and the detail of how they've exploded after the car ran into them. I wonder if that's what we're going to see on the streets of Vice City as well. And look at this. It's kind of like a dynamic event playing out as they're actually dragging the guy out of the car. That certainly looks like an interesting scene. Our next shot right here looks like it's video footage of an inmate. This is the corrections department at the sheriff's office of Vice-Dale County. And you can see that the logo there looks to be a lady in a red dress whose baby in white is getting fed to an alligator as a serpent comes from the tree, the sun rises, and a boat comes in. That is the seal of the county. That is incredibly interesting. And it looks like this guy is a pretty interesting looking criminal. He's got purple hair. He's got tattoos all over the place. And I don't know if he is just significant to the storyline or if this is just an in-game event that you can witness. But either way, it took up about 2 or 3 seconds of the trailer, so Rockstar definitely wanted us to notice it, certainly. In this next shot right here, we see a crew of gang members riding their motorbikes as well as their ATVs. And this looks like it's kind of also a little bit of a rundown area. As you can see, it kind of looks like trailers or double wides. But either way, there's a lot of cool details that you can notice on the vehicles here. Lots of interesting liveries and designs and NPCs wearing all sorts of different types of clothing and helmets and whatnot. And I feel like this also jumps into the next shot that Rockstar wanted to show us. It's a Weasel News sort of broadcast that says, "Dirt bike dirtbags. Cops fail to stop thugs on motorbikes terrorizing Vice City." And you can also see a handful of other little headlines as well. Leonida man sucked up in water spout demands city to buy him a new suit. Then it says Vice City girls officially something. And then patient wins Vice City marathon. That's what you can see. I don't know what that means, but you can also see more police cars there, more comments. Seems like this is absolute chaos on the streets of Vice City. And I think we're getting a look at what Rockstar's parody of Instagram is here. It's this heart with this sort of rounded edge square on there. You can see it's High Rollers Mag. And I don't know what this is supposed to be a shot of, but you can see in the background a couple of things going on. A billboard with a sign that says, "Who hurt you?" A traffic and highway sign for Waning Sands if you end up going north. And a handful of these vehicles have decals on them. This is something by Something Customs. It's a little bit hard to see. Definitely looks like that is a PMP 600. And then the truck on the right-hand side has a decal on the back that says Sound for Sound. And our main character here, again, so many details, like just the chains, the tattoos, the t-shirts, their teeth, their beard, their haircuts, all that sort of good stuff. It is incredible. Now, our next shot is massive. This looks like Jason and Lucia are robbing up some sort of convenience store. It looks like it's going to be close to like a fishing area. As you can see, there's fishing gear in the background. There's also a security camera. That might pose as trouble. And it also looks like the clerk area of the convenience store might have some bulletproof glass there. That could be interesting. They're both holding cash in their hand, which is a good sign they ended up getting away. Look at all the detail on the bottles, whether it's vodka or bourbon, or whether it's some other drink like Chips, Pizvazzer, or E-Cola. The detail of all the brands here is incredible. You can see a handful of them go by right now. Those look like they're various beer brands. There goes E-Cola. There seems to be a snack on the left-hand side that are called Jesters, so you'll probably be able to buy those, as well as what looks to be a parody of Cheetos. So lots of cool stuff here, including Pizvazzer for $14.99, Spread the Fizz of E-Cola, lager beer, as well as even some jelly that you can see on the left-hand side. Again, these are just things that I'm picking up as we go along. It then transitions to a shot of Jason and Lucia getting away. Now, the store they seem to be getting away from, or at least in this shot, is a pawn store and a gun shop. It'll be very interesting if we can utilize a pawn feature in the game. Certainly, gun stores will obviously be available like ammunition. It's yet to be seen what that is to be called, but Jason is driving with one hand, and Lucia is actually bracing herself on one of the window bars here on the car. Very cool. Looks like this is a four-door Dukes. And this is happening in the town of Port Gellhorn. As you can see the car slide by, it says Port Gellhorn Pawn and Gun with a speed limit of 55 miles per hour. You can also see another store, WHS Shoes, as well as a handful of other brands underneath. And it actually looks like they're heading to their motel, because this is the next shot right here. And I feel like this means that Jason and Lucia are romantically involved. As you can see, she looks to be undressed. He is not dressed either. He is completely shirtless. They have money and beer on the side table as they're in this motel. And you can also see that they're talking to each other right there. And I want to play back this entire sequence because it gives us a good idea of Jason and Lucia's relationship and where things might be when the story starts.
The only way we're gonna get through this is by sticking together, being a team. Trust?
Trust.
So the key word there is trust. They feel like they have to trust each other, and maybe that trust is a little bit lost at the beginning of the game. Now, where they dive into next is apparently Uncle Jack's Liquor. This is the store they just kick on open. So it looks like they're robbing a liquor store here. There's a handful of different items that you can see here, like Zesta soda, Pizvazzer beer, some snacks on the left-hand side. They are definitely doing a robbery here. They have left the door open of that car, and they also have their balaclavas on, which will probably prevent them from immediately being spotted by the cops, or at least giving them a better chance to get away. And then, of course, it fades into our logo coming in 2025. So that right there is my complete sort of frame-by-frame breakdown of the entire Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer. Again, I really didn't go into anything specific here. This was just really my like, all right, I've watched it 2 or 3 times and I wanted to point out what I recognize. So of course, I'd love to hear from you guys in those comments down below, because we're going to be doing way more videos here on the channel over the next couple of hours and days. What are some things that you noticed from the trailer, or even some topics that you want me to cover, like Jason and Lucia's relationship, the various locations we spotted, the vehicles, the weapons? You let me know in those comments down below. I'll get back to you. But if you guys did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. You want to stay up to date on all that is GTA and all the Rockstar Games videos that I'll be doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.